Ferrari's 2025 nightmare has sparked shocking whispers. Could Carlos Sainz return to Maranello? With Hamilton struggling and Vasseur leaving the door open, Ferrari might just reverse their biggest gamble yet. Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari dream hasn't exactly gone to plan. 5 races without a top-5 finish have left his debut season looking flat, and with only 7 chances left in 2025, the podium remains elusive. Sitting 6th in the drivers' standings isn't what the 7-time champion had envisioned, but there's a silver lining. Next year's 2026 regulations will rip Formula One apart and rebuild it from the ground up, promising the most radical overhaul in modern history. For Hamilton, that's a chance at redemption. A chance for new machinery to finally click with his style and reignite a title fight. Mercedes, meanwhile, admit they failed him in his final years with the team. Their tools never sharp enough to carve out another championship run. But Hamilton hasn't arrived at Ferrari empty-handed. He's carried a touch of Mercedes magic with him, and nearly a year into this new chapter, the Scuderia hopes it's about to pay off. Lewis Hamilton's weekend in Baku started with promise and ended in frustration. By Friday, Ferrari looked capable of mounting a fight for victory. But by Sunday, Hamilton was pleading with the team for help as the weekend unraveled. Failing to escape Q2 was puzzling enough, but his lack of impact in the race itself was even more concerning. Whatever setup direction Ferrari pursued after Saturday's final practice session proved disastrous, leaving Hamilton adrift in the midfield. Automotor and Sport reported Ferrari's own explanation, the shifting wind. As conditions intensified, the car's balance collapsed, stripping both drivers of the pace they'd shown earlier in the weekend. The only comfort? Ferrari insists the car itself wasn't fundamentally flawed. It was the weather that exposed their weakness. Still, that's a variable they'll want to control in the future, especially with the 2026 regulation overhaul looming. Ferrari's barren 2025 season has left Tifosi puzzled, and Jacques Villeneuve thinks the explanation runs deeper than just the car. The 1997 world champion argues that Ferrari's troubles stem in part from a bold driver swap, parting ways with Carlos Sainz to bring in Lewis Hamilton. For most of the year, the Scuderia clung to second place in the constructors' standings, only to lose it to Mercedes in Azerbaijan. Yet that position flatters their true pace, built more on steady points than on standout results. The SF25 has rarely been better than the 4th fastest machine on the grid, stuck behind McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull. Meanwhile, Sainz's podium in Baku with Williams underscored the qualities Ferrari chose to sacrifice. To Villeneuve, it's no coincidence. The very move meant to spark Ferrari's resurgence may instead be fueling its struggles. If you look at his career, when he's joined a new team, it has taken him a while, half a season maybe, to get up to speed. He works at it, but in that period, he makes the whole team go better. That's what happened in every team he's joined, and at some point he's often had a teammate that maybe was just a few hundredths quicker. But that teammate was quicker also, thanks to the work that Sainz was doing. But then Sainz became quicker than his teammate. Even when you look at Leclerc wasn't ahead of Sainz at Ferrari like a lot of people want to think. And every time he left a team, that team went downhill, every time. And it's the same with Ferrari now. As Ferrari stumble, Williams are thriving, enjoying their strongest campaign since 2017. Jacques Villeneuve credits much of that resurgence to Carlos Sainz, though he's quick to note the remarkable rebuild driven by team principal James Vowles. Under Vowles' guidance, the Grove squad has undergone a genuine transformation. But Sainz's arrival has been the spark that aligned progress with results. That steady climb reached a milestone in Baku, where Williams celebrated their first podium in 4 years. For Villeneuve, the message is clear. Sainz hasn't just joined the project, he's become its foundation. No, Williams haven't turned a corner because it's been slow and gradual improvement. Lately, Sainz has shown that he was up there. But something always went wrong, like at Zandvoort, Villeneuve said. But if you don't throw the toys out of the pram, then you'll be fine. Right now, all this hard work is starting to pay off. It's also a track that suited Williams. Villeneuve added that Sainz's emergence as a true leader at Williams makes it unlikely he'll be tempted away anytime soon. In his view, the Spaniard has found both responsibility and belonging, a combination too valuable to trade. Sainz has to be quite happy with what's going on at Williams, he said, because now he's perceived as the team builder, as a great addition, and he's loved there. So if you're going to jump ship, you have to think twice. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur finds himself under mounting pressure after a 2025 campaign that has veered off course. What once looked like steady progress has instead turned into a step backward, leaving the Scuderia exposed in the standings. Mercedes have leapfrogged Ferrari after Azerbaijan, while McLaren sit comfortably more than 300 points clear. Even more damning, neither Charles Leclerc nor Lewis Hamilton has claimed a single Grand Prix victory this year. Hamilton, in particular, is still waiting for his first podium outside of sprint races, a glaring statistic that has fueled debate over whether replacing Carlos Sainz was a costly misstep. Gunther Steiner has gone as far as to suggest that some within Maranello quietly regret signing Hamilton, though no one at the top would dare admit it publicly. Adding salt to the wound, Sainz delivered Williams their first podium in over 4 years at Baku, a moment that underscored just what Ferrari let slip away. That makes Vasseur's off-the-record remarks about Sainz all the more intriguing, especially with next year's driver market shaping up to be one of the most chaotic in recent memory. A fresh report from Spanish outlet Marca has shed light on Fred Vasseur's true feelings about Carlos Sainz, and the door, it seems, may not be fully closed. The piece highlighted how Hamilton's refusal to hand 8th place back to Leclerc in Baku would once have been considered a mortal sin at Ferrari. Team orders aren't as strictly enforced these days, but history shows how defined roles used to be. Just ask Rubens Barrichello during the Schumacher era. In a candid moment at an off-the-record breakfast with Spanish media before the British Grand Prix, Vasseur admitted for the first time that a Sainz return is not unthinkable. While he stressed it isn't on the table right now, he acknowledged that anything could happen in the future. Much of it may hinge on Hamilton's contract. The 7-time champion holds a clause that could extend his Ferrari stay into 2027. But whether he chooses to exercise it if wins remain elusive is another story. If Hamilton opts out and Ferrari aren't ready to elevate Oliver Bearman, the path could clear for Sainz. That said, Mercedes' highly anticipated 2026 power unit could complicate matters, making Williams a more attractive long-term bet for Sainz. Still, Vasseur appears unwilling to rule out any possibilities, aware that Ferrari will eventually need a successor to Hamilton, and that Sainz could yet be part of that conversation. Ferrari's future now hangs in the balance, with Hamilton's clause, Bearman's rise, and Sainz waiting in the wings. One thing's certain, Maranello's next move could rewrite their destiny.